Under President Trump, Kristi Noem, and Stephen Miller, ICE has been unleashed without guardrails, violating constitutional rights, and refusing to coordinate with state and local law enforcement. That's not border security, and that's not law and order. It's chaos, created at the top and inflicted on our neighborhoods and our cities. Yesterday, Secretary Noem, who for some reason still has a job, announced that agents in Minneapolis will start wearing body cameras. Let me be clear. Kristi Noem does not get credit for agents saying agents will finally do what they should have been doing all along. And why just Minneapolis? Why not the whole country? Every DHS agent everywhere should have a body camera, and it should be on. That protects Americans, it protects officers, it's common sense. But executive actions are not enough, and this administration has proven it cannot be trusted. We don't need promises, we need law. That's why Democrats are pushing simple, uniform reforms to protect Americans everywhere. First, end roving patrols. Warrants. That's what when you arrest somebody, when you break into their house, you need a warrant. Why is ICE accepted from that? You don't get to scoop innocent Americans off the streets. Second, accountability. ICE must follow the same rules as local police departments, including independent investigations. And speaking of playing by the same rules, masks need to come off, cameras need to go on, every officer needs to have ID, simple, plain ID. It's common sense. If a small-town police officer in upstate New York needs to have identification, why doesn't a federal officer? Why are Republicans against this, which is true in just about every police department in America? What are they hiding? Who is Noem hiding? Who is she protecting? Is it because so many have bad records in the ICE force or don't really belong there? No more anonymous agents. No secret operatives. These are common sense reforms, ones that Americans already know and expect from law enforcement. If Republicans refuse to support them, then they're choosing chaos over order. They're choosing to protect ICE from accountability over American lives. And one final point. Since the deaths of Alex Preddy and Renee Good, nothing meaningful has changed. Last week in Portland, federal agents fired tear gas at a crowd that included children. In Colorado, an agent stole a woman's phone, then shoved her to the ground and beat her when she tried to get it back. This must stop. Republicans must change and help us change. They need to work with us and legislate now. Senator Murray.
Last week, we wrapped up 11 of our 12 funding bills and passed those bills that rejected the devastating cuts from Trump and the House Republicans. It ended the slush fund continuing resolution, and it took Congress's power of the pen back from Russ vote and rejected every far-right poison pill. But our work is not done. There is one bill left, DHS, because we cannot fund DHS if we do not rein in DHS. That is a clear, hard line. Law enforcement cannot be lawless. But that's exactly what we have been seeing from ICE and CBP. What is happening in Minneapolis has not been subtle. Federal agents are going door to door asking for papers, and just as often ignoring papers, taking in people who are legally seeking asylum, like little 5-year-old Liam and his father, who a judge forced them to release this week. We have people that have done nothing wrong being abducted by masked agents with no warrant, shipped across the country, and herded into overcrowded detention centers for who knows how long. Some of them, taken in Minneapolis, mind you, are being left out in the street in Texas. No way to get home when ICE is forced to grapple with the reality they were here legally all along. The response to this lawless catastrophe has been understandable. Outrage from everyone, who believes this is a country where law, order, due process, and basic human decency matters. People have protested peacefully. People have documented the chaos as legal observers, and the Trump administration response to that has only grown more unhinged and infuriating. We saw protesters tear-gassed, even as they were pinned on the ground. We saw the shocking murders of Renee Good and Alex Preddy, and we heard the administration lie every step of the way. They lied about little Liam and his dad being here illegally. They lied about Alex Preddy brandishing a weapon and called him a terrorist. And just this week, we all saw a video of a woman who was abruptly cut off, pulled over, guns immediately drawn on her, nearly arrested before the local police stepped in and saved her from ICE. And yet the Trump administration is trying now to lie about that too. Enough. We are not going to fund a rogue department with its unchecked agents and officers. We're going to have accountability at DHS, or there will not be Democratic votes to fund a lawless agency. If Republicans refuse to make the changes the American people are demanding, they are forcing a Republican shutdown of DHS. The chaos, the brutality, all of it has happened at the explicit direction of this president and a Republican Congress that wrote him a blank check. If Republicans want Democratic votes to fix this, then they need to understand that half measures won't cut it. It really is that simple. This is somber stuff. Legal immigrants being brutalized, American citizens being detained, American citizens being shot and killed by our own immigration enforcement. The Trump administration needs to take these abuses seriously and understand that what Democrats are demanding is reasonable and it is necessary. End the roving patrols. Hold federal agents accountable and hold them to the same standards as local law enforcement on the basic things like use of force. Get masks off, get body cameras on, and ensure proper identification. So my message to Trump and this entire administration: stop the lying, stop slandering American citizens and lawful immigrants, stop insulting our intelligence and spitting on the Constitution. This country sees right through this. The people recognize that Democrats are fighting to protect basic American principles and basic American rights. My message to Republicans: we are at the table. We are ready to negotiate serious measures to rein in these rogue federal agencies. We are focused on getting a bill, and it has to be a bill that reins in the abuses we are seeing done by ICE and CBP. Americans deserve accountability. We will settle for nothing less.
Thank you.
This isn't about immigration. This is about an out-of-control agency. And I want to be really clear, this is not a Democratic wish list. This isn't about trying to enact immigration reform. All we're asking is that this federal law enforcement agency operate like every other law enforcement agency operates in the country, that they hold themselves to the same standard that your local police is held to. You would not tolerate it if a cop, fully masked, without identification, snatched someone off the street in broad daylight without a warrant or due process, because that is not safety. That is government thuggery. That is government thuggery. And so one of the reasons that people are so exercised, not just Democrats, not just progressives, but libertarians and Republicans and people in urban communities and rural communities and suburbs and exurbs, everybody is angry because this agency in particular is out of control. This agency in particular is out of control, and we're not demanding a series of reforms that have been our longtime political hobby horses. This is not an immigration debate. This is about the rule of law. This is about whether or not someone can present themselves to you as a law enforcement officer and not have any proof that they are a law enforcement officer. And so the next 2 weeks are about putting an end to that. Agents need warrants. They need to properly identify themselves. And if you talk to anybody in law enforcement, a service member, a federal law enforcement, a state sheriff, county PD, they all say, I'm Officer so-and-so. Here's my badge. That is part of public safety. ICE is asking you to say that the rules don't apply to them. The basic expectations of police conduct don't apply to them. The Constitution of the United States doesn't apply to them. And I think Americans across the political spectrum and across every geography are saying enough is enough.
Ready for your questions.
Go
ahead.
What do you say to Mike Lee's argument that the Senate rules allow the majority to require the minority to stage a talking filibuster to stop the SAVE Act?
We've got to get this done, and we've got to get it done very quickly. The SAVE Act is an abomination. It's Jim Crow 2.0 across the country. We are going to do everything we can to stop it. Yes.
Thank you, Leader. Leader Jeffries just said a moment ago that an OCR is off the table, but Leader Thune just said he doesn't think that it's going to be enough time to secure the meaningful reform that you want. How confident are you that you can achieve that by February?
If Leader Thune negotiates in good faith, we can get it done. We expect to present to the Republicans a very serious, detailed proposal very shortly. Yes.
Leader Thune also said just now that you are negotiating directly with the White House. He's not a part of these negotiations. Are you negotiating with
First,
the White
Leader Thune has to and should be part of these negotiations. And second, the House vote just passed, and we're going to present a serious proposal, detailed along the outlines of what we have talked about, to the Republicans, both in the Senate, the House, and the White House, very shortly.
Subscribe to One India and never miss an update. Download the One India app now.